On Monday, we asked all of you to review the revenue process workflow sheet that we gave you as a primer to see how it worked for you. Let's take some time today to talk through exactly how all the steps work together to help you grow revenue. Hello world, and today we're going to talk about how to move your enterprise customers, that's your large enterprise complex sales customers, from apathy to advocacy using a process workflow similar to this. We'll talk about the 8 different stages that we discussed. First is engage. The engage phase is a short process in which you or the designated members of your team are trying to find out the right points of contacts, the right topics of interest inside the organization just to get a conversation started. This is the process of trying to just get a foot in the door to begin to do the next step, which is to orient and educate yourself about the company. Also, throughout the entire life cycle of that customer, as long as they are in your circle, you're going to continue to educate and orient them as well. This is an aspect that's often left outside of the normal life cycle of the customer and relegated to the marketing and sales teams to use education to generate leads. However, in order to continue to keep our customers satisfied, we must continue to educate and orient them throughout the process as we in turn educate and orient ourselves to them and their changing needs. Next, we're going to find some problem that needs solving and develop a solution. This will involve not just the sales rep, but it could be multiple members of your team working together to find a solution to a specific problem. Once you've identified that opportunity, you're going to work with that customer to validate the proposed solution that you and your team have come up with. Once you validate that initial solution, you're going to help them initiate and begin to use that process. Initiation is critical because that will determine how well they're going to get the right ROI from that solution that you've given them. And last but not least, once they're up and running, you got to continue to serve and retain that customer. This process never stops throughout the entire process of the customer. Now you'll notice those 3 phases, develop, validate, initiate, they constitute your traditional sales cycle for an opportunity that arises. Whenever a new problem arises in your customer space, you can do those same steps for a different problem to solve more of their needs and continue to serve that customer throughout. No matter what the solution is, you're going to work through the process of developing a solution, validating it with that customer, and helping them to initiate the use of that product. Now you would think that that entire cycle right there, in just those few steps, covers the entire life cycle of the customer. But there's a couple of key phases that really make sure you've got ongoing revenue generation from the entire team. All of these phases that we talked about can be handled within some certain space of your enterprise customer, one particular point of contact, one particular team, and it can all be run by one particular product team or product rep within your organization. However, there comes a point where you're going to want to grow and expand that relationship. And at certain points in their life cycle, throughout the months and years that you're working with that customer, you're going to need to have some focused actions to take that relationship to the next level. Those levels of relationship can evolve from being a traditional repeat customer to being a reference customer on to being what we want, which is really a true champion for your business, a stark raving advocate that is there to make sure that they're repeating the messages of your brand and extolling your virtues so that they will send you more leads than your inbound marketing efforts. The goal is to make sure that you're working with your existing customers who've become those champions in specific ways. And those phases of expand and champion, and also even in the engage phase, requires effort outside of just the sales and marketing teams. And that's why we've designed this primer to allow you to sit down with your team and just go through each of the steps and ask the people responsible for those phases, how do we succeed in these areas? What is it that we do on a regular basis consistently to make sure that we're successful at each of these parts of the customer's life cycle? I hope that overview was helpful, guys. The link to that particular primer is below, so you can go ahead and download it. Spend some time with your teams, sit down, have some conversations about each of these phases, and share your thoughts in the comments so they can all grow from the knowledge that you all are sharing. Look forward to seeing you on the next mastermind. Have a great weekend.